Buckets. That's the name of my boat. Buckets.
Buckets. What we get.
Not the only transfer we got from Florida. Keith Stone, too. Remember that.
Everybody who watches his show on a regular basis knows my love of the stretch four.
You know, we all make mistakes. He might have made one going to Tallahassee.
If y'all don't know. Dribble to the left, cross over to the right. Hurricane to the game, many buckets for the night. Matt with the pick and roll, Melissa with the give and go. This Shelly, you, hoodie girl dunking in the hole. Check the scoreboard, this what we fall for. Peep the gameplay, they want an encore. Yeah, overtime for another round. It's buckets out the buckets, baby. You out of time. It's buckets. What it is, homie, it's buckets. Woo! We get buckets. Yeah, baby, buckets.
I have no shame.
I know. That's the problem.
You guys are awesome.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Buckets here on Six Ring Canes, 5 Reason Sports, all that jazz. We are minus Matt today, but me and Vish are here. So we're going to talk some more hoops 2 days in a row. What up,
we can't complain. Can't complain. Hoops is great. Both teams undefeated. What's not to love?
I'm trying to wash out this taste of the Bean Boozled challenge from my mouth. If anyone's ever heard of that, where you like eat a jelly bean and it could either be a good or a bad taste jelly bean. So I was doing this for Coop's show that I was just filming, and I got 2 bad jelly beans. So it's just a mess of disgustingness right now. So I'm drinking a Dr. Pepper, trying to get the taste out of my mouth.
Yes, she has spurned the apple juice and gone straight for the
apple juice wasn't cold. Speaking of Coop, there he is. Coop got 1 good bean and 1 bad bean. So, but we were all like almost like we were like dry heaving, eating these nasty beans. This is what I'm talking about. The Bean Boozled challenge. Yeah, so gross. But make sure you all go check out Coop's channel later. Me and him did a little preview for the Boston College game, and you'll see our nastiness of beans.
I mean, I don't know if you're looking at the screen, but
I know he's here.
Yeah, he showed up.
My ultra secret score prediction. If you want to know my score prediction for the Miami BC game, you got to go watch his video later.
Shout out to Daniel Berry from 12 hours ago.
Oh,
he dropped it in there.
Is he not watching us live?
He might be, but he dropped that comment in there at 7:50 this morning.
I'm waiting for one of our friends of the show, Coop. Although Coop is usually watching, but doesn't usually comment. He's always around though.
Yeah, well, Daniel Berry got it in there early. So
Canes Today used to be the one that did that. Now we got Daniel doing it.
Canes Today's got school now. He's dropped off since classes started.
He's busy. There's Bill, friend of the show. Bill wants to know if football is actually still on. Yeah, it is still football season, but here, as Miami Hurricanes fans, as a basketball school, the men's team is now ranked number 10. We will be talking basketball for a bit, or always on this pod anyway.
Yeah, this is the basketball show for a bit.
This is Buckets, as named by Coach Meyer. See, everything on the background relates to something.
You've gotten really good at pointing.
Huh? I've gotten used to the imaging.
Well, it's back. I don't think people realize it's backwards. Like, so when you see yourself on camera, you point the wrong way. If you do it naturally,
it's not a mirror image. Like, we're not looking into a mirror image. So it takes a few minutes.
Reversed.
Like,
everything is reversed.
It's reversed. So like you think that the shoes are on this side, but they're really on this side. So, but I've gotten pretty good. I was also just doing another pod. So
your pointing game has definitely improved. Good work in the off season. You're ready for the season to start. Look at this.
Right. Yeah. I was actually just talking about this, like how we've been doing shows all off season. And now that it's in season time, we're really getting a flow on the show between like having two of us available. Actually, it's really Vish needs to be available because he produces it, and then it needs to be me or Matt.
I mean, I can produce from behind the scenes though if I'm like not able to be on camera, which we did do for part of one of our shows, so that works too.
Well, we did for 2 shows, one in the off season and then one.
Well, I mean, that was a whole different thing going on, but even because we had 6 ring,
because he was still finishing the football show, so me and Matt started.
Yep.
And talk a little crap.
Yes, which I heard all of it.
If you are new here, which Bill is not, we do have a Buckets Twitter/X account, so make sure you're following us at Buckets_Canes. All basketball all the time on that Twitter account. So please follow it.
It's also scrolling across the bottom here.
And it is scrolling across the bottom, but it looks really cool with the big red arrow. Boom.
Look at the expert level pointing we're getting here. I don't think people realize.
I have to move the red arrow if we have one more person pick Chick-fil-A because that list is getting long.
These are problems you don't need to worry about. I'm gonna find guests that appreciate food that tastes good, so we won't have to worry about that.
So I didn't really get to give my thoughts on the Kansas State game.
Well, I want to do a few things. So I definitely want to hear your thoughts on Kansas State. I want to hear your thoughts on Matt and I very briefly.
There's Daniel.
There he is. There he is, live and in person now.
There you go.
Shout out to Daniel. Matt and I very briefly talked about the Southern game, which I know you at least caught the tail end of that. So I want to get your thoughts on that, and then we'll talk about the upcoming very busy schedule the women have coming up. But yeah, floor is yours. What were your takeaways from the Kansas State game?
To preface the Kansas State game, I was working. So the only place that I was able to find...
Let's back up a step here. Melissa's been working like crazy. So she has been pretty much every day. So that's why.
To preface the preface, since I had vacation the end of October, I've been working a lot of shifts, and that's because one, I have a per diem job that I've been picking up shifts in, trying to get better with that job, but also I'm squeezing in shifts so I can have a long Thanksgiving off. So like after tomorrow, I have 5 days off. So that'll be good. But yeah, I have been working. So I was working for the Kansas State game. I couldn't find a full replay of the game, so I only got to see, there was like a 30-minute highlight vid on YouTube. So unfortunately my breakdown isn't going to be as well versed as you guys probably got yesterday from people who got to watch the game.
I don't know. I was drinking the whole time, so I don't know how.
Yeah. So first of all, I was working for the Providence game, or not Providence, for the Georgia game too. So
I mean, you've been working. I feel like during because you worked during the Southern game too for the women. So I think you have not.
Well, the Southern game I was able to stream on my phone once I got it to work, so I was able to catch like the fourth quarter.
Yeah, but I feel like you've been working
during... Like I was in and out for it. Actually, I probably could have rewatched that because that was on ESP.
That's all right. That's all right. Trust me. We'll get into that game in a bit, but it's not something you ever watch twice.
Yeah,
you ever watch that twice.
So my thoughts. First of all, what a weird the ballroom, the ceiling was very bothersome for me. Like how I can understand why the shooting was so poor in the first game because the angles and the depth perception.
I showed you the video of what you don't see on camera because it's even
they have the middle school scoreboard and
then behind the stage. It's like it is. That's a
great
description.
And like high school bleachers.
It's like your middle school auditorium. That is what it's like.
Yeah, it was really odd. But so as far as the Kansas State game is concerned, man, was it nice to see Nigel break out. We all knew it was coming. He did start slow last year, and what we thought last year was him just getting used to the system. I was a little worried to start the season that he wasn't getting the shots, but not as much because I felt like they were overplaying him. But with Wooga and Bensley and Cleveland hitting from the outside, I feel like eventually Nigel was going to get his opportunity because you can't cheat on him anymore because Bensley's offensive game, what a leap. Wow. But anyway, that one shot he had in the corner where you would have thought the shot clock was expiring and he was just trying to shoot it up just to get a shot up. But I think there was 7 or 8 seconds on the shot clock. I don't know how that went in. He was
just feeling it.
From beyond NBA range, and it's such a smooth release, and there's never a doubt. And we all know Nigel has this range, so it was really cool to see. And it's also really cool to see him do it against his former team, which he said in the press conference that like it was just another game for him. But I mean, his coach and like the players he played with aren't really there anymore, so I guess it's a little bit different. But that was cool. The foul trouble concerned me a little bit. I know Wooga and Matthew Cleveland. I know they were out because of foul trouble. I did like seeing a few different matchups of having like Norchad and AJ on the floor, or Norchad and Michael Nwoko on the floor. I thought that was interesting. I like that Keyshawn got some good shots up. Christian Watson's defense looks like really, really good. I think he's going to be a really big contributor off the bench. I'm glad to see him getting more minutes. But I really like what I'm seeing from our starters offensively. I said it before, Matthew Cleveland's mid-range game is ridiculous. And I really like seeing Norchad in the post making some moves and dribbling and kind of pump faking from the top of the key and driving the ball in and making those shots, drawing fouls. It's going to cause people, it's going to bring the defense in more. And when you've got all these shooters around the key that can make shots, Bensley, Cleveland, Wooga, Nigel, it's going to give us a lot of open looks, and we're going to live by the three this year. And I'm not even going to say live or die. We're going to live by the three because we have a lot of shooters.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah. And
it's really fun to watch. Like when we shoot a three, I expect it to go in at this point. Like when we miss, I'm shocked, honestly.
Yeah, I know. It's actually, we were kind of talking about this in our infamous now at this point Buckets group chat. Matt and I, as Melissa was filming Coop's show, Matt and I were watching Colorado and Florida State battle it out in overtime, which Florida State ended up winning. It was an awful game of basketball.
We play Colorado.
We're
going to see them play live in Barclays. I'm so excited.
Yep, we're going to play both those teams.
Vish, we have a very exciting December ahead of us.
I mean, I do.
I said we. We both do.
Yeah, we both do. I have an extra 3 basketball games on top of that.
Well, so. for context, me and Vish are going to New York to see us play Colorado at Barclays, and Vish is coming to Miami in December for we're gonna go see the Dolphins play the Cowboys. We're Cowboys fans. Sorry, I know a lot of people who probably are Miami Hurricanes basketball fans or Miami Dolphins fans also. But we're Cowboys fans, so we're gonna go see them play. And I've never seen the Cowboys play in person, so I'm very excited.
Yeah,
back to basketball.
We're gonna go to the Hurricane Stadium and cheer for the road team, which will be weird, but
it will be very, very weird.
I've done it once. I've done it before because the Cowboys.
Yeah, Bill, I don't want to see AJ Casey shooting a three.
You know what? I'm good. I'm good with him shooting a three. It was out of the flow of the offense. Like he needs to shoot that.
But I would like to.
Well, let me explain my reasoning, and you can call me a dumbass afterwards. So. The thing is,
I would never.
I know that's just the commenters, but not this show. It's the other show. I'm
pretty sure I was called one on Twitter a few days ago, but we won't go there.
I mean, well, no, let's not pick that scab. The thing is, so our offense is so free flowing, and I think the difference, as mentioned, I was watching this Colorado Florida State game, and they were passing up what I would consider good shots for us that we would shoot. And the thing with the way our offense is, it's first available half-ass look, just let it go. Like we don't work right, but that's the way our offense is gonna flow. So when you have someone like Casey who's open, if he doesn't shoot it, it kind of breaks the offense.
Yeah,
he's got to just let it go. He's got to just let it fly.
He's not really. I mean, he's not really known for his 3-point shooting necessarily.
No, not at all. But
I think it would be a great addition to his game to make him more multidimensional. I'm okay with him shooting it when we're up big in a close game. I hope he doesn't take that shot because it's not necessarily a good shot in a close game.
I mean, he's not going to be on the court.
Yeah, but I'm glad to see him getting more minutes. Because I think he's taken a bigger step than what we've seen in his game from last year to this year, and we haven't even reached close to the top of what he can be.
Well, he's way more comfortable out there, which is why I'm good with him shooting those
he doesn't
threes.
Look lost.
When it's in rhythm and it's out of the flow of the offense, he's not hesitating. He's just stepping into it and shooting. I'm good with that.
Honestly,
it's very different than the Anthony Walker version of that, which was I'm going to pull up in transition 5 feet behind the 3-point line and throw crap up there. If he starts doing that, then I have a problem with it. But so far, I haven't really seen him force anything. It's been out. It's been like off of passes out of the rotation, and you kind of, if you don't shoot it, the offense kind of breaks then.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to let it go.
The thing for me that I've noticed so far, we're 5 games in, so there's a lot more season to go. Like the progression in Bensley Joseph's offensive game, I'm sure we talked about this in the offseason that his offense definitely needs to progress as a starter. Like his defense is amazing. Like he's a great defender, elite defender. I was concerned about what his offensive game was going to be like because we're going to need him more with Jordan and Isaiah gone. I'm so impressed with what he's been doing. He looks so confident shooting the 3. And his defense isn't taking a toll with him having more responsibilities on the offensive side of the ball. It's probably the most impressed I am as far as returners are concerned with their jump in their game. It's very exciting to see.
Yeah, and I think we talked about this extensively yesterday on the Buckets show. So if you want to, go download that podcast, people can do that. But one of the things,
part of the show.
Yeah, one of the things we talked about was the bench, and those improvements are allowing us to have a bench of some sort because, last year and the year before that, there wasn't much to go look for on the bench to actually come in and make a positive contribution. I think we're getting closer to that at this point.
Mm-hmm. I think our bench is better than it was last year, and it's definitely better than the year before. I don't think the bench is going to get enough credit right now because they're young. But as we go through the season, I think our bench is gonna be a big factor. Like, obviously, I love our starting 5, and I will be the first one to admit it. In the offseason, I was not having it with Nigel and Bensley starting. I was worried about
you wanted to bring in
size.
Mustafa Umsil and start him at power forward. That's what you wanted to
I
do.
didn't. No. Well, I mean,
I'm messing with you.
It's stretch 4. It's a stretch 4. It's a stretch 4 bias. I was really worried about size, and I was worried about our offense because Bensley was known for his defense last year. He didn't show a lot of his offensive arsenal, so I was really concerned about that. I didn't realize how much Matthew Cleveland was really going to bring to this offense. I knew he was a really good basketball player, and like I said, I put it on Twitter. I apologize, Mr. Cleveland. I underestimated how much of a difference he was going to make for this team, and I didn't expect the jump that Bensley Joseph has taken in his offensive game. So you go back and watch some of our pods from mid off season, and you probably think I'm a complete dumbass because I wasn't expecting it, honestly.
Yeah, no, and me too. Not just Bensley's improvement, but I guess to a certain extent, I still am a little bit concerned about the lack of size. But
the lack of size is going to be a thing, but
I think we both were like the backcourt's too small.
Yeah, but we can bring in taller guards when we need to. I think Chris Watson has developed more than we've seen so far. He's like 6'7", isn't he?
Yeah, he's bigger, and his defense is why you can get away with him on the court.
Yeah, his offense needs work, but he's a great defender, and if Keyshawn can keep developing, he's also 6'8". Someone that is a guard. So these young guys on the bench, like I said earlier, is going to be a key role because if you need somebody bigger to come in, we do have bigger guards. It's just one's a freshman and one's a sophomore who didn't get a lot of playing time last year that are both 6'7" and 6'8". So as they get comfortable with the system, I could see I think we kind of did that. Which game was it? Where we brought in Keyshawn for a defensive stand and then sent him to the bench and brought Nigel back in.
Yeah, we might do some of that. It's just hard to take
Nigel out,
period. Because again, if you're playing defense, part of that's getting the rebound and potentially getting fouled.
And although his free throw shooting wasn't exactly the best.
It hasn't been this year, surprisingly.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on with that.
Norchad, on the other hand, 90% on Sunday.
My man.
9 out of 10.
I'm saying. Free throws seems to be a little bit of a plague for both teams.
No, I think the men are shooting at a high. I'll have to look at the stats.
Bill says Coach L has been tinkering a lot with lineups. He has, and I actually like that. He's seen what he's got because as we get into when we get into conference play, He's gotta know what he can run with. And I think I don't know about you, but I think I could name my all defensive lineup at this point.
You can name your all defense. What for? Like the
A 5 on the floor for defense.
5 on the
That's
floor,
a
huh? Your
that's
co-op.
that will help with a 5 Reason Sports.
You're co-opting another brand on the network. I have a feeling trying to look for the stat now. I have a feeling our men's team's free throw shooting is probably one of the best in the country. We have had
No, I referenced the free throw shooting because the end of the women's game against.
I mean,
Southern,
we haven't talked about the Southern game yet.
I was gonna pop an aneurysm.
Well,
but-
let's I guess finish with the men then because we got a lot.
Yeah,
to
no,
talk
I'm just
about
saying
women.
that's yeah.
As I desperately try to find the statistics to see.
No, our free throw shooting for the men has been good. Nigel missed a few, which I was surprised with. But no, our free throw shooting's actually has been good.
Yeah, we're 6th in the country on free throw percentage, 82.65%.
I think Wooga's 3-point percentage has dropped into the 50s. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I know he's showing.
He struggled a little bit
human.
from 3 in the Georgia game, but I blame the ballroom.
I mean, that's just a weird situation. You could see by the second game we kind of adjusted to it more and we're a lot more comfortable. And I mean, Kansas State, to Bill's point, to your point, Melissa, he's tinkering with lineups because we're doing things like going up 20 at the half against Kansas State, so then you can tinker.
Yeah.
Usually you can only tinker against worse teams, but that you can do it against a team that was in the Elite Eight last year is definitely
we didn't sneak by Kansas State. We let our foot off the gas at the end, which is why the score's a little bit closer.
Why you gotta take a shot at Canes today? Why you gotta do it, man?
I didn't say a name. You brought the name up.
I know what you were talking about.
No, Canes today is good people.
Friend of the show.
He's right. He's hopefully a future University of Miami journalist. So shout out to our boy Canes today.
Yeah, double major though. Money matters. Industry dying. Double major. Have something else you can do. So other than that, I guess so. There's now. So how would you just kind of last question?
Hey, our guys in the chat.
Our guy Matt.
What happened to the 19-year-old picture?
He took it off. He got embarrassed, but it lives on forever in our intro.
Yeah, I was gonna say it lives in infamy. It lives in infamy.
In infamy, it's awesome. What are we talking about? Him in like a tank top, looking like he's 10 years old.
I guess that he was
guessed his age, and I don't know.
I guessed his age.
I guess I'm just old because he looked
Matt
very
had
much
to pop
younger
in
than I do.
because I popped in the show yesterday from work really quick to say hey. So
yeah, shout
Matt, we miss you. I hope I introed the show and gave it justice in your honor.
Well, you can cue the socks outro later to, it's been a while. It's been a while since you've been on Buckets.
Yeah, I know, work.
Too much work.
I don't make enough money from this or any money really. So but
but no, the last thing I want to talk about in the men before we maybe do a little price picks and then pivot to the women is so there's actually next week at this time we'll be about to tip off against Kentucky. So what do we need to do in the next week to go in there and like to prepare and win that game? What do you think the things are we need to work on? I know we've been playing well and we've been frankly dominating most teams.
Not letting our foot off the gas. You can never get comfortable against a team the caliber of Kentucky. I want to see more improvement from our bench. Matt, I'm not too busy for you guys. It's just that I have bills to pay, so I have to work.
I mean, he's saying this from the chat as he was too busy to come on the show. So I don't really.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know where he gets off with this kind of.
I don't know. I honestly just want to keep seeing us getting better. Kentucky is going to be a really hard test for us. I don't know. They've had some players out. I don't know if any of them are going to be back. They played it really close with St. Joe's last night.
Yeah, overtime. It was last night.
Kentucky's a really young team, and I don't think they have all their players healthy currently. But it's anybody who says differently is crazy. This is a massive game for us. This is our most important non-conference game, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's also our first real road game. We've played all at home and then in a ballroom.
And it's going to be a hostile environment. I mean, Kentucky's a basketball school.
Oh no, I'll be
the
there.
football
I'm
coach
loud.
thinks,
I can
yeah,
balance
Vish
it
will
out.
be
You know,
there.
I'll
I'm
balance it out.
unfortunately going to be at work. But I'm going to do everything I can to watch as much of that game as possible.
Yeah, make sure you get your phone situation sorted before the game, so you can just pop the stream open.
It's honestly it's an issue with streaming from my TV login because I literally shout out to Gary. He helped me fix my situation at home, and then I did the same thing on my phone. I logged out and logged back in, and it worked. So it's kind of like my TV provider login messes up, and I have to like re-enter all of my information. So that's the problem. And Miami versus Kentucky is going to be a top 25 matchup because I think Kentucky's like 16.
Yeah, and it is the marquee game in the
and it's the return of Dick Vitale on commentary.
Which I unfortunately, I'll be at the game, so I won't be able to hear that. Actually, I still might hear it, but
honestly, I would. I think I put a question up on Twitter a few days ago: is how much of the Kentucky bias are we going to hear on commentary? No disrespect to Dick Vitale, but he likes his Blue Bloods.
Well, he's an ACC guy, so I don't know. We're not playing Duke or Carolina.
We're not North Carolina.
But we're not playing them either, which is when you usually get it.
You know what I got to do? Monday night, I got to rewatch the 2012-2013 team play Duke at home and get hyped for this Kentucky game. That's what I got to do. Rewatch that game.
What about the 2008 Kentucky game or whatever it was where we went in there and won?
No, but that Duke game, I watch that Duke game whenever I'm sad about Miami basketball.
See, I've started watching the Louisville women's game from the tournament.
I need to, I need to watch
that. Thing is
amazing.
That later. Because the whole game is on there. The whole game is on there.
But you really only need to watch like the last 8 minutes.
Yeah, but it's 59-44, and we scored 17 points in a row, including a buzzer beater. And you can watch it happening. It's now you know what's gonna happen. But you're like,
it's less stressful.
Actually, this is hilarious because the way that starts, we turn the ball over, they throw it in, and Jalea rips the ball from their point guard, lays it in, and that turned the whole game. And then Dusty scored 15 points in a row. Yeah. But it's
DQB loves Coach L. I hope. Who doesn't love Coach L though? Honestly, though, come on. Any other men's stuff we want to talk about besides our top 10 ranking?
You're putting it up there. It's fine. It's way too low.
Listen, I doubt us, whatever. I'm hyped for our top 10 ranking. I think it's really cool. I remember going to school when we could barely get 10 wins, let alone a top 10 ranking. So it's going to be a fun basketball
go to school season. When the whole sports program was just in a lull.
Well, 2008, our baseball team went to Omaha.
And won the ACC. And
I lived in University Village that year. So when they were doing super regionals at the Light, I was watching it on TV, but then I could hear outside because my building was right there. So I heard screams and stuff a few seconds before it would show on TV. So I know when something would happen. So I had baseball in 2008. That was my fun. I mean, I did get kicked out of a game my senior year too.
It's a damn shame. That baseball team, that was the best team in the country, and
that was a really good team.
That first game, that error in the 9th inning.
Vish, are we gonna get to see a win together at some point?
On Sunday. But we'll talk about that when we preview the women's thing coming up. But I feel like we'll win on Sunday. By the way, before we do prize picks and pivot to the women, I have been to Publix multiple times since I've been back in Miami, and they do sell cheer wine at Publix here. By the way, just
do they?
Yeah.
Oh, I've never seen it.
I have seen it, at least at the one down here. I haven't gone to the Dayland one, which is always like a zoo, which is one I usually go to, which I'm assuming is the one you go to. Since
the Dayland one's nice. Yeah, I used to go to that one when I was in school because the one that's closer.
Oh, the one in Coral Gables. Although I hear they're building a new one there. That's what all that construction is on US.
I remember telling friends that weren't from Florida that Publix is amazing. They're like, "What are you talking about that store?" I'm like, "Don't go to that store."
That one is horrible. I cannot believe they should call it something else.
That's not. That's. What do you say, Coolito?
Yeah. There we go. It's spread everywhere. I feel like my job is done. I can retire from this now.
I think Matt tweeted that word out.
No, he did, and I know everyone's gonna think it was me, but yeah, no, that one's Coolito, and they should call it Public Coolito, just to like, okay, this is it's an ass Publix basically. That's what we're saying. Yeah. It's no, you just, and the Daylon one's right there. Just go to the Daylon one. There's no reason to spend the extra 5 minutes and drive down US 1 and go to the good one.
Yeah, Daylon.
But there's another big one right by where my sister's house is. There's a little bit further south. That's the one we've been hitting up.
Honestly, I don't go to Publix very often. Instacart is my thing.
But then how do you go through the Latino section and buy a bunch of crap you shouldn't be eating and then eat it? And then not be able to fit into your New Jersey and then have to go return it tomorrow? I'm running a 10K on Thursday.
Yeah, I don't do that. And hence I spit in my clothes. So
I mean, there's something wrong. I think it's definitely way smaller because all the other ones are the same size and everything else fit fine. I'm like,
that's all right. My 5 Reasons Sports shirt is too big because it's a small. I'm gonna have to try and shrink it.
Well, I mean, first world problems. Anyway, Prize Picks. Do you want to do it or do you want me to?
I'll do it. So Buckets, 6-Ring Canes, 5 Reasons Sports is sponsored by Prize Picks. Head over to prizepicks.com. Sign up and use the offer code 5. That's FIVE, as in 5 national championships. And Prize Picks and 5 Reasons Sports will match up to your first $100 in deposit. What you do is you pick 2 to 5 players, bet under over on their stats, and if you get it right, you win money. So use the offer code 5 FIVE, and as in 5 and 0, and go win some money. We are 5 and 0 until Tuesday, so there we go.
We're 5 and 0, and let's see if the women barely though survive. Oh man, so this was after the
past. Those are one of those. That's one of those games we lose, and it just looks terrible on our resume.
Well, this is also just for this is a few days ago, just to give everyone the timing. This was overlapped the end of the men's game with Georgia. Yep. So it tipped off. The first quarter was basically done by the time the Georgia game ended. It was a little tight, and you're like, just going to pull away here. It just never did. Shot
Actually,
horribly.
We're down a bit. That's at one point.
Yeah, well, while you're talking, let me pull up the box and all this, because it was
we got a little bit of a lead at the end, and we couldn't make a free throw to put it away. I'm at work. I'm watching it all. I'm watching it on my little phone here. And I'm just screaming at my phone. I'm like, make a free throw. I was like, ah.
And on the 4th time of asking, they did just that.
They made one. I was like,
yeah, 1 out of the 4. I mean, this is I'm pulling up the box score now. I'm going to share it. This was it was
a terrible shooting afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know how to describe this. What happened?
It was bad.
But yeah,
I mean. Let's say we got the win, because again, in years past, these are games we probably lose and regret towards the end of the season because it puts us in a position where we could not make the tournament. So,
yeah, and let me do a little zoom in here because obviously we care more about ours.
Well, Kyla had a decent game.
I mean, it was her and Julia did okay, and even though Cheyenne's numbers aren't good, she had a couple of big shots when we had fallen behind pretty bad.
And Lamaya was in for defense a lot. She didn't put up a ton of shots.
Yeah, no, her shooting kind of went. Man, I did not realize this, but I don't know what exactly Stedman was doing. But check out the plus minus. She rocked it apparently. Just get her on the court and let her miss 3 shots, but we're plus 13.
Right.
No, but these are the bottom line numbers: 38% from the field. 16.7 from 3, 45% on free throws, which is what Melissa referenced earlier when we were talking about, the men missing some free throws. So just the end of the game, Cheyenne missed 2, and then got the rebound. I think Jada was up next, missed the first one, made the second one. It was like, all right, we're finally up 4.
We didn't have Spearman.
Oh. That's interesting. I swear I saw her in there. I guess not.
Like I said, I only caught the final
I didn't.
So I didn't get to see the whole game.
I didn't see the beginnings. I was watching the men's game. So.
But she's not on the box score.
Yeah. So guess is no. Then, which is I don't know. Maybe she was hurt. assuming she was
Interesting.
probably hurt there, but got a week off now for the next game. So hopefully she'll be
Yeah.
back. The other thing is I was looking. I don't believe there was a press conference after this game because I was very curious to see what Coach Meyer thought of this this
Right.
performance, because we were kind of flying high and everything was going smooth, and this was definitely not that. I mean, you can look at the scoring. Like we kind of made a run towards the end of the first half to finally kind of push the lead out. You think, all right, you're up 6 going into the half, and then they were leading after the third quarter because we just didn't really.
Look at we got outscored 20-10 in the third.
Yeah, and then
not our best game, but
we competed.
It's one of those things where like at least we can talk about it and it's a win. To play badly and get the loss obviously hurts a lot more, but like we got the dub from it. So definitely a lot to learn from that one.
Yeah, so I guess a couple of questions.
Bill says better to have a game like this early than later, for sure.
I mean, the thing is, one of the reasons, again, I think anyone watching this show is probably very familiar with our basketball team, so I'm not exactly breaking news here, but the women's team in particular started off slow the last few years, really started getting it going in ACC play, done well in the ACC tournament, made the NCAA tournament with a lower seed than they probably should have had because of losing games like this. So yeah, it is good that it was not a loss.
Yeah.
But question for you, well, several, but we start with this. How concerned are you with the free throw shooting? Because you're not gonna win games doing 9 of 20.
I'm not concerned yet. But if something like this keeps happening, then I'm very concerned. Because in general, we just didn't have a good shooting day overall.
Yeah, but some of this, like, I mean, one of the ways so here's where definitely agree with you. Obviously, we start shooting, this 9 of 20 is not going to happen on the regular, but one of the ways we tried to get baskets because we were not shooting well from 3 was to pound it inside, and then you get this. It does make you a lot easier to defend when they can just hack the center and you can't make a free throw.
Yeah, no, Kyla definitely needs to.
Because you can see, she, like you said, she had a good game from the field, 5 of 7, 8 boards, but the way they end up defending her was just fouling her. And so that needs to get better. I mean, you got to be able to make their free throws.
I mean, Lamaya Hilton only hitting 2 shots up.
I don't think I intentionally stopped sharing. Let me pull the stats back up.
No, that's okay. But Lamaya only 2 shots up is kind of crazy considering like she's been scoring really well for us the first few games. So her not being able to get anything going is concerning. She had like 6 threes in the last game or 5 threes. I'm still waiting for Cheyenne Day Wilson to really get going.
Yeah,
I don't think
we
haven't seen her full potential yet with this team.
She reminds me a little of Nigel Lester, trying to kind of fit in. She's a star player that doesn't really know where she fits with the rest of the team.
Yeah.
And I think once she gets a little bit more comfortable, like I said, she did hit some huge. In fact, when we were down 5, she hit a 3, and then stole the ball on the next possession and got to Jalea for a layup, and that was kind of got us back
flashes. Yeah, she's had some flashes, but she can be that good all the time. And I'm hoping she's just trying to get comfortable. This team has so much potential. Like, this was a bad game, we got the win, but there are so many good things about this team. I really think they're going to be really special when we start getting into the latter parts of the season. And I honestly think they can make a run in the tournament. I really, because you kind of have all the pieces. You have great coaching. You have really good guard play where you could have multiple people starting. You have bigs when Latasha comes back too. You've got 3 people that you can, that are legitimate. And I think Kyla's looked great. And Stedman, obviously, I'm a fan. Or Spearman, obviously, I'm a fan. They have a lot of pieces. If they can put this all together, I'm really excited for March.
Yeah, I'm curious, what's going on with Lasaria. Hopefully it's not like anything serious. And like you said, Latasha. So we actually we're definitely undersized in this game compared to what we'd normally be.
Who started? What was the starting lineup?
It's the one that's visible there.
Oh,
It's the same
Kyla,
one we've
Jasmine,
used.
Jada, Julia.
We
Okay.
we've kind of the only change we've made all year really is Kyla and Lazaria kind of swapping once. But yeah, no, Day Wilson's still coming off the bench, which I don't know. Do you think? Well, I guess last
I mean,
question
she's
on this.
playing starter minutes.
She did in this game because she was playing well. Like I said, the numbers aren't great, but she definitely was very impactful. So I think she took Lachey's minutes. But all right, kind of last question on this, and we'll pivot to the games this week, and maybe talk a little bit about Mississippi State next week, who is ranked, and that's a road game, so that'll be kind of the biggest early season test so far. But do you think we're going to see more? Putting aside Lazaria's injury, because maybe she comes back and starts when she's healthy, or whatever it is. I'm assuming it's injury that held her out last game. You think we're going to continue to see tinkering? I know Coach Meyer, when we talked to her before the season, was like, I'm going to move a lot of lineups around, figure out what my starters are. I don't really know yet. We haven't had that much tinkering, actually. Do you think we're going to see like maybe Cheyenne in the starting lineup? What do you think?
I don't think Coach Meyer's ever going to have a set starting lineup. I think you're going to see her mess with it the entire season. I don't think she's ever going to set an actual, like, this is our starting, like, the guys where it's these 5. There's too much potential in all of these players, and I think she's going to go with matchups and who's playing well. Like you saw Cheyenne got more minutes than Lachey did. But no, I don't think it's ever going to be a set thing. Maybe you see the same group starting for a long run, but I wouldn't expect that to be set in stone ever. Not especially the way she talked about it when she was on the show last month. What would you
do though? Who would your starting 5 be right now based on, I guess, 3 games or whatever we played? 4 games? 3 games? 3 games?
Probably Cheyenne, Julia, Jasmine.
Assuming Lazaria's available, let's just go that way.
Yeah, Cheyenne. I'm gonna go with the lineup that I said at the beginning: Cheyenne, Julia, Jasmine, Lazaria, and Kyla. Once Latasha's back, I get only starting one of them if you don't have any other bigs on the bench. But if you want to go forward guards, I don't know. I really like Lamaya Hilton. I really like what she's been doing. I'm becoming a fan very quickly. She also provides a lot of energy off the bench, but you could throw her there. I know Jada's been in the lineup too.
Yeah, she's had one really good game.
Yeah. Dwyer's had some good games too.
I kind of like Dwyer off the bench because she's so energetic, and I feel like you bring her on the second unit, and she can really just mix things up well. That was her role last year, and this year she's starting. Oh no, I could definitely see her sliding back to the bench.
And it'd be nice if
the team
is young. You know what's really nice? The team is really young. Besides Jada.
Yeah, I think everyone else.
You could have like everybody back next season, which is kind of insane.
Yeah, and again, it's women, so it's like they basically.
Well, and not only that, but like think about it. Like Kyla and Spearman are both sophomores. Hilton is a sophomore. Jalea and Jasmine are juniors. Stedman's a junior.
Lachey's also a junior.
Latasha's a junior.
I think she's also a junior.
Yeah.
Lachey's a junior.
Yeah. Jada's the only one without eligibility left after this year.
And then we also have a top 10 recruiting class coming in. So yeah,
and we have And if you haven't, go watch or listen to our pod because we had Leah Harmon on the show last week, who's a 5-star guard coming into the program next season, and she was a lot of fun to talk to.
She was.
She also picked Chick-fil-A.
Look, why do you have to tear down guests that come on the show? Look, they do something bad, and you have to just point it, like literally.
No,
point
I'm
it out.
saying it's good.
I know what you're saying, but you're
Leah
incorrect.
Leah and Jaleel on there.
You're incorrect though, and that's okay. We're allowed to be wrong.
One list looks longer than the other.
It's not a popularity contest. It's about good chicken.
Apparently, good chicken is the one with a longer list.
I mean, some people like flavors, some don't. To each their own.
Those that like Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, I guess you want to make sure you don't choke on it. It's nice and soggy. It goes down easy. I get that. So I guess the last thing.
You eat Popeyes.
I mean, Popeyes is a outstanding crispy piece of chicken.
So is Chick-fil-A. I had it earlier today.
I knew it. Damn it. I can feel it. I can sense the Chick-fil-A in you.
No, that's the jelly beans.
The last thing is, so one person that has not gotten off to a good start is Ali Stedman, who, when we taught the coach before the year, she was like, she just takes and makes shots, like shoots over the top of defense, really brings something to the table. How long before you get worried? Because again, she played at Pepperdine, which is not the level of competition you're going to face in the ACC. Also, not the level of competition we faced yet. But are you at all concerned with? I'm pulling up her numbers now, but she is.
No, it's too early still.
She's 25% from three.
She'll get into a rhythm.
28% from the field.
She's kind of my version. She's kind of like the female version for me of Keyshawn, where I feel like as the year goes on, they're going to get more comfortable and you're going to see more from them.
Okay, well, she's definitely not coming straight out of Europe, though. She played significantly.
Yeah, I know, but it's a whole different ball game playing in the ACC. She'll get there,
which we haven't really done yet. I mean, all due respect to Southern, they're not exactly the level of competition we're going to be seeing down the road. Okay,
she'll get better.
Know. I'm just curious, but
I'm confident in every single person that either starts or comes off the bench for us.
Okay, let's almost leading into what I was going to wrap with, which was on that subject, which is Coach said we have 10 starters. You still think we have 10 starters? And I guess your answer is yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right, let's look ahead then to what the Canes have coming up. Let me actually grab the schedule up here and I'll share it. But they host it. They do this every year. They host a Thanksgiving tournament. So
me and Vish will be there.
We will be there for the Sunday game.
Yep. Friday I can't make because
I will be there at the I will be there at the Friday game as well. So, but let me get that loaded.
Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday, so I always spend it with Mom.
I'm just gonna assume this is the right one. What in the hell is that?
A person.
No, it's the corner of what I was trying to. This is very weird.
Is it all zoomed in?
No, it's normal on my screen, but when I go, okay, wait, okay, it worked briefly. This is like the strangest thing. So you could see what I was looking at. All right, I think that might do it. All right, there it is. All right, so yeah, we have Colgate 4:00 on Friday, and then on Sunday,
depending on what happens.
Well, yeah, but the game will definitely be out. So even though it's a tournament and it's winners play winners and losers play losers, we still play the late game on Sunday. So
okay,
that might be the third place game, but it doesn't matter. It's still at 1:30.
Well, that's good because that's more sleep for me.
Well, we're not gonna have the home team play at 11 a.m. So
no.
So yeah, so we'll be so basically we'll play Colgate for sure, and then either Eastern Tennessee State or
we'll play the winner because I expect us to win.
Well, we'll talk about Colgate in a second, and then we go to Starkville.
Yeah, which is going to be an insane game. Mississippi State will be the hardest team we've played yet this year. By far.
They are ranked, and that is a road game. I'll also be there.
And they are a really good team.
Ooh, that's 6:15 there. Are you working on that day, the 29th? I guess I should have asked that off air, but
no, I'm off.
Post game?
Yeah.
All right, I'll do it from Mississippi. All right, well, so let's talk a little bit about these games. So I know you didn't have a big chance to look at, as we've been mentioning, Melissa's been kind of working 24/7. But I'm gonna kind of read out a little bit about. I did some research on Colgate, and we'll kind of talk a little bit about that game because that's the one we definitely know we're playing. So they are 3-0. They beat Cornell 71-60. The one at UMBC 57-51 and beat Canisius 61-55 in overtime. A couple of things that stood out for me. They have one their best players by far. One of their guards, Taylor Golumbewski, averages 17 points and leads the team in rebounds, even though she's undersized. She's only 5'8". So they kind of team rebound. Their other kind of big time players, a forward. She's 6 foot, so there's a legitimate side there. Tiasa McMillan averages 12 and 5 and 3 blocks. And the way that they've won is by severely out rebounding opponents and forcing a bunch of turnovers. They force over 20 turnovers per game. So that's kind of what they've been doing because they turn over themselves quite a bit, but they force a lot of turnovers, grab a lot of rebounds because they do not shoot well. And in fact, the other thing that really jumps out to me is they have made 3 out of the 24 3-pointers they've attempted this year in 3 games. So they're basically just like turning you over and then pounding the glass and just shooting enough to get points.
Kyla is gonna be very important.
Hopefully we get Lazaria back
like,
too. So
yeah,
we have
but it sounds like our bigs down low are gonna be the difference in this game. Not letting them get second chance opportunities and just getting rebounds and not letting them drive the paint.
Yeah, they're also a
What
high turnover team, so I think our ball pressure. We have a lot of guards like to pressure the ball. Amaya Hilton, Julia Williams, Lachey Dwyer, definitely get after it defensively. That's going to be key. And protecting the ball again, we have a lot of guards, so in theory, we should not be a high turnover team. That has not necessarily been the case this year. So you got to protect the ball too, and if we force them to make shots, should be okay. By the way, our RPI is 29 as I read these RPIs out. So theirs is 87.
Okay.
So just to kind of get it. Again, it's very early. They've only played 3 games. They've won all 3 of them, though. They are undefeated. They do turn the ball over more than they have assists. So again, it's probably a game that hopefully we can get.
Boards and defense. Boards and defense.
Defense, which seems to be the thing that we do best at this point.
Coach Meyer preaches it. So
anything in particular you're looking to see in this game? I think you kind of nailed kind of what we need to do to make sure we don't lose this game is not give them second chance opportunities and protect the ball so they don't get easy buckets off a transition, off of turnovers.
Way to get the name of the show in there.
It wasn't even on purpose this time. Normally we do it intentionally. I just accidentally did it.
That just went within the flow of it too.
Good stuff. It wasn't on purpose. Usually we force it. Yeah. Wow, it's just it's a great name. Shout out to Coach Meyer. So is there any? So I think that's kind of if we do those 2 things well, we should be favorites to kind of see this game out. But I'm not going to get too confident after Southern scared the living crap out of me. But is there anything else you're looking to see in this game on Friday? Like any players you're looking to see maybe step up?
I'd like to see us bounce back from a poor offensive game. I don't like that Lamaya only got 2 shots up. I think she's had really, really good offensive games so far, and she's really good at defense. I want to see more from her. We said it before. We're waiting for Cheyenne to get into a rhythm because we know how good she can be. So
is this the game that happens in?
Listen, I think with this team, anybody could be the person that steps up in that game. It's you can kind of get, and it's almost kind of like the men's team too, where there's so many different people that can score the ball that on different nights it's going to be different people. Like last week, we were talking about how we haven't seen much from Nigel yet, and then he's got like 7 threes in a game. So I think you could see that from anybody, but from what your scouting report is about how they just rebound, and they try to turn you over. I think Kyla and I think our bigs, Kyla, and assuming Lazaria is healthy and comes back, I think it's going to be big for them to kind of control the glass and not let them get second chance opportunities, especially if they're not a good shooting team.
Yeah, and I think the other thing there is I do feel we were a little lackadaisical against Southern. I don't think we necessarily took the game seriously. I hate to say that, but it did feel a little bit like we weren't as locked in as we were the first 3 games. We had a bit of a layoff before that game, and it felt a little sluggish. There's a layoff here, but I'm hoping after that game, a little bit more focused. I'd like to see a clean game. You said the offense playing better. I think that's definitely part of it. make 70% of the free throws, like something like, not 9 of 20 or whatever we were against
Yeah, that's
Southern.
terrible. You're
Yeah.
not going to win a lot of games that way. That has to improve.
Yeah. And so things like that, just doing the small things well, no stupid turnovers. You're going to have turnovers. It's basketball. It's not like
Yeah.
you're going to have none, but, and then, play good defense. There's really never an excuse for not defending well. Just to revisit Southern, I don't know why I didn't look this up before the show, but I looked up while we were talking. They are 0-5, and their RPI is 174th in the country. So that was almost a very bad one.
Disaster.
Yeah. So, these teams we're playing coming up are all better, including Colgate. Yeah. Okay.
I do use their toothpaste.
I'm a Crest person myself, but
I use Colgate.
Oh, I'm well aware of your toothpaste endeavors after Houston, but when they confiscated your toothpaste going through security
they took my toothpaste, man. Crazy. I thought it was a small enough thing.
Scofflaw. She went in there with like 4 ounces, and they were like, "Not having it." She tried to break federal aviation laws and got busted.
That's the first time that's happened, and I've brought that same bottle through security before. So
she's breaking the law.
Anything else we want to discuss?
Well, I mean,
get this jelly bean taste out of my mouth.
Let's do a little bit of Sunday, and then maybe Mississippi State, and then wrap. Just real quick, because I don't think we're gonna do another show before we actually have a real game.
Holidays.
Yeah, so that's why I was like, let's go ahead and do a little Mississippi State talk. So, but basically, Eastern Tennessee State and Norfolk State will play, I think, before us. Let me double check that. Yeah, before us on Friday. We'll get the winners play the winners, losers play the losers. But just high level, Norfolk State is the significantly better team. They're 5-0. Their RPI is 51. They've got several players averaging double figures. They're really the average. They dominate the boards, and they're a high steal team. They don't have a great win necessarily, but they have a lot of solid ones, which is why their RPI is good. And they're 51st. Mm-hmm. East Tennessee State, they're 209th in RPI. They're 3-1. Their loss was to Kentucky, but they're definitely the worst of the teams. So I would expect to see Norfolk State, and I think Norfolk State's similar to Colgate in the sense that if we go in there and don't play clean, they can. Norfolk State is definitely good enough to beat us. So we definitely got to be locked in there. And with
hopefully this game against Southern was the outlier, and
with our jinx, that is the game we're going to. So.
Oh right, yeah.
there is blood in the water there. All right.
What's the last game we saw that we won? Miami, Ohio.
Were you not sitting next to me during Clemson? Oh no, you were sitting McCoob. It was I think it was Miami, Ohio. Because you definitely sat next to me during Georgia Tech and North Carolina. So. And
all the baseball games.
I would just like to point out you also weren't sitting next to me in all the games we lost that weren't the 2 we just mentioned. So.
Yeah.
It's not us.
It's not. Yeah.
It's not us. It's just
we weren't sitting together at the Final Four either.
That is true. Okay, and then the last thing
I didn't really know you yet when we met. We met at the Final Four.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. And then the last, again, I don't think we're gonna do a show before this, but Mississippi State, that is the big one for us to really, hopefully, we talked a lot about playing well enough to potentially host in the NCAA tournament. These are the games you need to win to do that. This is a big game.
Yeah.
So just to
a ranked team on the road at their place.
Yep, and just a little breakdown on them. Their RPI is not great. It's 196, but they are 5-0. They're ranked 25th in the country, and they have a couple of legitimate like big time players. Their best player is a guard, Jakyla Jordan, 18.4 points per game and 8 boards and 12 assists, leading the team. And she has 3 steals.
Triple double.
Yeah, and 3 steals a game. She averages. But then they also, and this is kind of distinct from the teams we've been playing, they have a legitimate center. They have Jessica Carter. She's 6'5", averaged 13 points and 8 boards and 2 blocks. And they win on the boards. Per game, they're out rebounding teams by 22 rebounds a game per game.
Good thing the men aren't playing them.
Yeah, that would have been a problem. And they also have a lot of blocks. And interesting enough, their coach, Sam Purcell, was an assistant for a long time at Louisville, and before that, Georgia Tech. So he's very familiar with our team, the way Katie Meyer plays. That's going to be an interesting challenge. That's actually 8 days from now. They do play just similar to us. They have games before then. They play Clemson, Arkansas, Pine Bluff, and Tulsa over the weekend in Houston at a tournament. That is Mississippi State. So I guess, again, kind of as we kind of come close to wrapping here, anything there jump out at you? I know you didn't really have a good chance to look. I will say, just real quick, I should have mentioned this. So they are 5-0. They played one road game and they won by making a layup with 15 seconds left against Belmont, won by a point. So they're certainly not unbeatable.
No, but obviously we haven't played a team yet that has that kind of size at center, or a team that's rebounded like that. And you're going on the road to an SEC school. Mississippi State women's basketball fans their arenas get loud. This is a team that won the national championship a few years ago. Like, it wasn't that far off, wasn't it? Like 3-4 years ago.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, these years run together, and I'll find out it was like 15 years ago, but it feels like yesterday.
It feels like it was recent. No, it's gonna be tough.
I don't think they won the championship.
Or they got to the finals.
They made the finals in 2017 and 2018.
Yeah. I remember because Dak Prescott went to one of the games.
Yeah. No, they made the final in 2017, 2018. So yeah, they have recent success. I think they're getting like 19,000 a game into this. I'll be there, so that'll balance it out as usual. I'll be loud.
The orange and green and the sea of maroon.
I think I'm sitting with like the players' families and stuff. So I only will be sitting there by myself, but we'll see.
Oh, okay. That's good.
But yeah. So
anything else?
No, just I think we're gonna try and do something over the weekend to preview the Kentucky game. So be on the lookout for that. I think that is pretty much it.
I think that might be Vish and Matt doing that one.
You're potentially in view. We'll see.
Depends when it is.
I think it's going to be Friday night. We've talked about this.
You're questionable. We'll see.
You're questionable.
We will see. Questionable. I did win my fantasy football matchup. I clinched the playoff spot this week. Let's go.
Congratulations for that.
Good stuff.
So the next time it'll be a form. Other than that preview, would be the Kentucky postgame show.
Hopefully a dub.
That'll be a week from today. Also, Six Rings is off until Monday, so this is kind of.
Well, you and Matt are gonna do postgame for Kentucky.
Because you're occupied.
Working. Yeah.
Yes, as usual.
Shocking. Basically, if I'm not on a pod, it's because I'm working.
Yep.
It's pretty much what it comes down to. So, I don't know if Matt's still watching this or not. But
he better not be. If he sat in the chat for like the whole show, he might as well come on.
Shout out to Bill and Daniel.
Yeah.
And this
Kenty. We have a new
Coop popped in. I don't know if he's still here. I know he had some editing to do. And if you're listening to this on the podcast, which I think more people listen to it than watch.
Yep.
Gracias. Sure. Thank you for listening to us for the second day in a row.
Before you do it, I
was gonna say hit us up on buckets_canes on Twitter /X to get all basketball content 24/7. We're all three of us post on there regularly, so make sure you're following us.
Yeah, and before you do your thing, just real quick to all the listeners, whether you follow this show, Six Ring Canes, both, this is kind of the last 5 Reasons Kane show before Thanksgiving, so I want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy time with the family. The Canes won't ruin it until Friday when they play football, so you can enjoy Thursday.
Should I give my football prediction?
No, don't step on Coop's content. What are you doing? Keep that thing down.
If you want to see my football prediction, you got to head over to Coop's channel and watch the video he's posting later tonight.
You're welcome. She was just about to like.
Listen, I ate 2 nasty beans for his content, so he appreciates me. All right. But yes, happy Thanksgiving to everybody listening, watching. Hopefully you all have a good holiday, spend time with the family. Hopefully our Cowboys beat the Commanders on Thursday
look who's still
evening.
here. He saw you attempt to do that.
Yeah. Shout out to the Dallas Cowboys, kick the Commanders' butt on Thursday night. I will be in my Cowboys gear celebrating Thanksgiving with my mom, paying close attention. Please, Tony Pollard, get me a couple of touchdowns. And Vish, anything to add?
Nope, you know what to do.
Cue the Sox outro. Don't cry. Don't cry. Keep it chill. Wear good socks.
Buckets.